I'm Tim, and welcome to WatchYouWant.com. Thanks for logging on. Well, following that discreet watch from Breguet, that gorgeous little classique, we move into a bomber from Ball. This is the Ball Engineer Hydrocarbon Deep Quest. This thing makes a Rolex Deep Sea look effete. 43 millimeters in diameter. It's also an incredible 19 millimeters thick. This is a titanium hardcore tool watch for the man who thinks, you know what, a sea dweller just isn't burly enough for my wrist. I need to wear a whole submarine. And Ball delivers. This thing is hardcore, and it starts with the tech spec, not the look, because Ball has basically equipped this watch with everything you need to go hunting for sperm whales with a spear. Okay, first and foremost, 43 millimeter titanium case. I guess the size is the standout feature here, so I'm going to put it on my 6 1/3 inch 16 centimeter wrist so you can get a sense of it. Now the first thing you'll see is that it actually fits decently. It comes down to a question of whether or not you like the big watch look. Ergonomically, once we size the bracelet, there's going to be no problem fitting because the lugs are smartly designed. They're short and they're contoured, and you can see that the curvature of the case actually fits the wrist very nicely. So fit, unlike the Rolex Deep Sea Dweller, is not going to be a problem. It's purely a function of whether or not you like a big watch and the way it looks, because this Ball is actually a pretty comfortable bomber. Now, speaking of bomber, this thing has a 10,000 foot, yes, 10,000 foot depth rating. So no, you're not going to drown it in the pool. More than that, it has a lot of high-tech dive technology that helps it to live up to its name, Engineer Hydrocarbon. If you're out there prospecting for oil at the bottom of the ocean, you might want to have tritium radioactive tracers inset in the dial. And that's what this watch has. For illumination, this watch actually uses H3's trasor technology. So imagine small glass capsules filled with radioactive tritium and a luminescent element. It's almost like having your own miniature perpetually powered neon lights built into the dial. At night, this thing glows like a torch, and unlike Luminova charged watches, it doesn't need to be exposed to light to remain luminescent. Not only that, but after 12.5 years, when the tritium passes its half-life rollover, Ball can simply replace the tracers and re-energize it. So that's the great thing about this watch's luminescence. The other great thing about it is that this traditional and very robust unidirectional rotating diver's bezel is itself durably lumed. So whereas in many watches you only have that little pearl at the 12 o'clock at the index on the bezel, here you actually have a fully lumed bezel for great nighttime and underwater visibility. Now the obligatory Uber diver watch feature, the helium release valve, is present and correct at 9 o'clock. You're probably never going to need it unless you're actually going down in a diving bell or some sort of complex diving suit. Again, 600 meters is pretty much the human limit, but if you're ever going down there, you're going to need to decompress, and helium release valves have been known to come in handy in extreme conditions. And at dinner parties, where they're a fantastic conversation piece among the general public and your watch-loving nerd friends. This watch has plenty of nerd-core features. Let me tell you, in addition to that helium valve, the tracers, the rotating bezel, the titanium case, and matching titanium bracelet, this watch is actually shock-resistant and anti-magnetic. So, true to its name, the Engineer has a lot of features that an engineer would want to have for use in rugged environments, for use in high-energy electronic environments. Now, beyond the fact that it is an incredibly rugged watch with a lot of high-end dive technology, it's also a remarkably accurate watch, being a certified COSC Swiss chronometer. In addition, the anti-magnetic features, the anti-shock features help with the accuracy of the watch. And not only is the watch chronometer certified, but Ball includes an extraordinarily detailed chronometer certificate with this watches. Most companies will give you a chronometer certificate that basically says passed, or they'll note that the watch is a chronometer, sometimes just printing it on the dial. Okay, that's fair and whatnot, but to actually give you the chronometer certificate showing all of the deviations of the watch through the 15 days of the chronometer test, the different positions and temperatures and conditions, that's pretty open and pretty upstanding by Ball to put all of its cards on the table to show just by how much their tuned ETA movements exceed COSC standards. I think that's bold, I think it's innovative, and it's much appreciated in a watch this technical. Now, the package set that comes with this watch is pretty entertaining in its own right. Just as the watch itself is a bit of theatrical, it's a bit of a theatrical presentation, unless you really are that guy going down to the bottom of the ocean. It's a fun watch, and so is the packaging that comes with it. It's a Pelican case much like what you get with a Blancpain 50 Fathoms, but even a bit more elaborate. In addition to a lot of dive literature that's specific to submarine enterprise, I suppose you could say, if you are a prospector for oil or gas, it comes with a diver down flag, a diving buoy, and literature concerning diving safety. So they really go all out at Ball to give you an impressive presentation that really sells the concept and completes the picture of a no-holds-barred ultimate instrument tool watch. And that continues as far as the bracelet's concerned, because this is a burly piece. As I showed, it fits well even on a smaller wrist, and the untold story is that it's actually a very supple set of links. It's a very smooth bracelet. I think it's actually a little bit more agreeable on the wrist than the Oyster bracelet on the Rolex Deep Sea. And moreover, the clasp is outstanding. Big, tough, double deployant. It actually features a twin trigger release, which I like because it has a smooth action to it. It's milled and solid, and there's no accidental opening, as there sometimes can be with a friction fit clasp, where it might pop open if it's hit or knocked or shocked. You have to depress both triggers, and then it opens smoothly, like the door on an old Mercedes. Moreover, it has a nice little micro adjust feature, if I can remember which side it's on. There it is. A micro adjustment so you can fit it over a diving suit or even a winter jacket or long sleeves. Very thoughtful, very useful, and very easy to use. It has a smooth swinging action that really speaks to the quality of the clasp as a whole. I like this watch tremendously. While I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the giant watch movement, if bigger truly is better, you cannot get any better than the Ball Engineer Hydrocarbon Deep Quest Titanium 43mm Extreme Dive Watch, available from watchyouwant.com with full Ball factory boxes, papers, and oh so interesting accessories. I'm confident that if you're considering an extreme dive watch and you're a little bit curious about what the Ball brand stands for, check this watch out on our website, watchyouwant.com. I'm confident this just might be the watch you want.